welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show with barefaced lies and well-masked truths. On David Mitchell's team tonight, a comedian who's been all over the world, from Australia to the United States. In fact, the only place he hasn't been is a hairdresser's. It's Alan Davis. And a woman who, when she was at university, earned a first-class degree in romantic poetry. I must tell her the one I wrote. There once was a man from Nantucket who's another time. It's Jermaine Greer. And on Lee Mack's team tonight, he's the host of Pointless, one of BBC's most popular tea time shows, or as students call it, breakfast television. It's Richard Osman. And a footballer who played for Nottingham Forest, Newcastle United, Spurs, Aston Villa and QPR, meaning he was either hugely in demand or couldn't get on with anybody. It's Jermaine Genus. And so we begin with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists each read out a statement from the card in front of them. Now, to make things harder, they've never seen the card before, they've no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Richard, you're up first tonight.
Last year, at a party, I shared a jacuzzi with 3 of the eggheads.
David Mitchell's team.
Which 3 eggheads?
It was Barry. I know, right? Kevin. And Chris.
Do the eggheads, are they only allowed in a jacuzzi for 3 minutes?
What was the party?
Well, it was all of the sort of quiz shows together. We're doing a big photo shoot, and it was us, and by us I mean Pointless. It was Eggheads, The Chase, and like 15 to 1.
How'd you get all them in?
Just out of interest, who initiated the jacuzziing?
There had been some photographs in it earlier in the evening, and then later in the evening people were jumping in of their own accord.
Right. Okay.
What was the photo shoot for?
Radio Times, TV Times, one of those.
So with the concept for the photo was 3 eggheads and you in a jacuzzi. what were the 15 to 1ers and the chasers doing?
We were doing all sorts of photographs, drinking champagne, jacuzzi. It was supposed to be, you know, decadence and all this kind of stuff.
The concept was decadence in the quizzing community.
I think it was champagne, chocolates, just being decadent, I think. But
chocolates in a jacuzzi?
Not in a jacuzzi.
Sort of a box of black magic bobbing back. I think photographing a lot of people from different quiz shows in a ridiculously kind of opulent setting is the sort of idea that a listings magazine might have. For example, with the last series of this, they had us sitting round a table pretending to play poker and pulling loads of faces.
Yes.
It's the kind of stunt that they do, rather than just having a normal photograph and then a note of when the programme is on, which is all you need.
I rather enjoyed the poker photo. It's a lovely opportunity to spend time with you and Lee out of this environment, but never mind if you weren't happy.
To be honest with you, Rob, I also had a terrible time.
It's time to make your mind up. What way are you leaning, Alan?
I don't think it's true. I can see the photo shoot, but I just can't see him in a jacuzzi.
Continuing to party at the end of a photo shoot was certainly not something we considered, was it, Lee, at the end of the aforementioned
Literally,
poker.
as he put the cap on the end of the camera like that, we were in the taxi, weren't we? Yeah. And I remember as we drove off, winding the window down and hearing, "It's my round, lads."
Yeah.
It's my round! Take your head down, he's looking!
Rob sent me the end of his anecdote in 5 long texts.
So, Jermaine, what do you think?
I'm going to say...
Is this a musical?
You say a lie.
You think it's a lie?
A lie.
So you both think it's a lie?
Yeah.
We'll say lie.
You're going to say it's a lie. OK, so Richard, jacuzzis, photo shoot, truth or lie?
It is lie.
Hey!
Yes, it's a lie. Richard didn't share a jacuzzi with 3 of the eggheads. Jermaine Greer, your turn.
Whenever I travel by tube, I look around the carriage to decide who I'd eat first. If we were a group of people stranded on a desert island.
Lee?
I hope this isn't true, Jermaine.
Although we're now all doing it.
Yeah.
And I think we all know what we're thinking.
Yeah. It's certainly not going to end well for me.
Think about you could eat you and make a raft out of the bones. So, Jermaine, is this a thing you only do on the tube?
Well, you know how, I mean, you can sit in the tube, stupefied with boredom, and ask yourself what everyone would look like undressed. And that is just so depressing a thought that I started to work variations on this theme and thinking, you know, who looks toothsome?
Toothsome?
Yes. Who would you like to sink your teeth into?
I thought looking toothsome meant you had a lot of teeth.
Well, you thought wrong.
Really? Did I really?
How do you make the judgment call then? Is it just the fattest or...?
No, it's not just the fattest, because they're probably the least interesting. You might decide...
Interesting.
Doesn't matter how
Well,
interesting
because
if you're
it's just
eating.
lard. Unfortunately, it's positively correlated with youth.
So you like the idea of eating you?
Imagine, Jermaine, we're all on the tube together.
Hang on, she's eyeing me up here. She's fully eyeing me up.
In which order do you eat us?
Well, Jermaine is quite right. He has to go first. He's the fittest.
That's an
He's
assumption.
Thank you very much.
So you're starting with Jermaine. All right, we'll allow you that. Who do you turn to next?
I think it'd probably be Alan next.
It's hard to know if it's a compliment or not, isn't it?
Do you remember that feeling at school when you were lined up and they were picking the football team? And the only thing you could think was, I better not be last. It's happening again!
So you've got Jermaine and Alan. Who would you go to next?
David, I think.
Thank you.
It does feel like an honour, doesn't it?
It does. I'm very proud to finish in the top half of the table.
Why would you go to... Why, for Lord's sake, would you go to David before me, to a lesser extent Lee, and Richard? Why?
I think Richard would be a bit difficult to handle, to manage.
So you've got the three of us left. Who's next?
And it'd be a matter of how one cooked you. Crackling is what comes to mind.
I don't know if she's insulting me or praising me.
Everybody loves crackling if it's made properly.
Yes, I like that. So it's me next, is it?
Well, yes, maybe. Look, this is getting out of hand, I'm afraid. I'm full already. I'm not
you
even
take it-
hungry anymore.
Take it a little more seriously, please. So you're left now. You're left with the two stragglers. You've been pushing them round your plate. You really don't want to know. It's, Lee and, Richard. Who do you go to next?
I can't help thinking at this point I'd have probably got off the tube.
So who was last, just to be sure? For when I get the T-shirts
I
printed.
thought I'd spared Richard.
You spared Richard because you think he's too weak, so Lee...
let him go.
Lee is technically last. Excellent.
So Lee is last, but you refuse to eat Richard at all.
So what do you think?
She's very detailed about what...
When she
knew.
When she looked into your eyes and said, I'd
I
like
saw...
to eat him
Yeah,
first.
that's definitely true.
I told you, the eyes told me, yeah, you're going. Like,
You felt sure.
to be honest with you, in makeup room before, I was like, things are coming back to me now, actually, yeah.
Yeah, because she was basting you, wasn't she?
So what's he going to be?
What do we think, Richard?
Well, I think, just look in her eyes, it's so true.
So you both think it's true?
Yeah.
I think it's a lie.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. But I'll go with
true.
the majority, because
Okay.
I'm weak.
You're going to say true. Jermaine, truth or lie?
Lie.
Yes, it was a lie all along. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest. And it's up to Lee's team to spot who is telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Wally. So, Jermaine Greer, what is Wally to you?
Oh, this is Wally. He's the crane driver who once let me sit in his cabin 50 feet above my house.
Alan, how do you know Wally?
This is Wally, and during one of his driving lessons, I crashed into the co-op.
And finally, David, what is your relationship with Wally?
This is Wally, and he intervened when I got into a whispered row with a woman in a library.
So, there it is. Lee's team, where do you want to start?
Wally's got the top half of Alan's face and the bottom half of David's.
I think the phone Jermaine's got that was in her fridge. OK, well, let's start with Alan. When was this?
I was 17.
Sorry, this was a lesson or a test?
It was the day before my test. I'm in a Mini,
Yeah.
Right.
and Wally's with me, helping me learn.
Oh, he wasn't the instructor?
Not a driving instructor.
Oh, OK, so he's your mate. Right, and what caused you to go into the co-op?
I didn't stop. It pulled out in front of me.
Talk us through the incident, then.
It's where I grew up. I grew up in Essex.
OK.
And it was the biggest supermarket in Europe.
The co-op?
The co-op.
Which town was that in?
In Loughton, that's where I
Oh,
grew
the
up.
Loughton Co-op.
That's where I grew up.
Yeah. It's the only supermarket you see from space.
But it's hard to spot if you're driving.
Did you scrape it or did you go
No,
bang
straight
into it?
into it.
Into a window or a wall?
The wall.
Sorry,
Instead of braking, I accelerated.
How much damage did you do to the car?
Well, it wouldn't go.
Really? Was that bad?
I can't get over the hair. They've got to be mates.
They come from that town where that is the hair.
Yeah, it's the size of
How
what we do.
did the manager of the co-op, who came out with presumably the same hairstyle, how did he react?
Maybe Alan tried to blame Wally, pointed, but there was like 20, 30 blokes, and you had to work out where Wally was.
So the manager came out, and what was the response?
I don't remember anyone coming out.
The car has gone into the wall of the co-op, and everything just carries on.
Did you have to put £1 into the back to release it?
All right, so who would you like to speak to next?
Jermaine, what was the crane doing? I presume there was building work going on.
It was to do with an electricity substation.
So he was doing some work.
The crane was there for a few days before I actually approached him
Right.
and asked him if I could go up in the cabin. And when I first asked him, he was distinctly unkeen.
So you say you asked him, where was he? Or did you shout?
He,
Can I come up to your cabin?
he,
I want to sit on your crying in your cabin! Come on! I'll be a dingo, let me in your cabin!
Was that roughly the conversation?
he'd come down off the crane.
Oh, he was already down, ready to go over. You grabbed him away.
So I asked if I could nip up and have a look at him.
And did he go up with you?
No, well, the thing is, he didn't really want to do it. So I did my best to persuade him.
How did you persuade him? You put a white hanky over his mouth and you said, smell that, and he woke up in the cabin.
He would have had to be dragged up unconscious. I couldn't have done that. Let
It was
me
only
just
the
say that.
practicalities that stopped her from doing it.
Let me simply say that money changed hands.
Ah, and how much did he have to pay you?
So did you both go up to the cabin?
He said I had to go first, just in case I missed my footing.
And he went up right behind you?
Not right.
Wally, you pervert! OK, so you're up in the crane.
Yeah.
Is there room for two people in those things?
Barely. It was.
So it was intimate.
Not really, but it was.
You can't have it both
uncomfortable.
ways.
You certainly can't have it both ways, and that's too small.
some respect for Jermaine Greene. So sorry about my friend.
It was pretty cramped, but he showed me how you use the controls.
You're telling me now that you actually had a go of it,
No, I didn't have a go of
but
it.
he showed you how to do
But
it.
I can use a digger and an excavator, so I know how to balance the two hands.
Why do you know how to use a digger?
Well, because I dig holes.
What about David?
David, can you remind me of your statement?
This is Wally, and he intervened when I had a whispered row with a woman in a library.
What was the row about?
It was about noise.
Who started the row?
Who started the row?
I would say she started it, but the noise that it was about was my responsibility. I was in the loo.
Was what?
What? I was in the loo when the noise happened, but the noise didn't emanate from the loo. It was my phone made the noise while I was in the loo, because it was on silent, but it vibrated and sort of...
Where was it? On the, you left
I'd
it in the
left it
library?
on the table.
Oh,
by
you'd left
my-
the thing, gone to the
by
toilet.
my laptop.
So you come back from the toilet. Could you hear it's that noise? Yes.
Well, that's yes. I was in the toilet,
And you heard the
no, I couldn't hear that noise from.
Oh, great, he's now doing impressions of inanimate objects.
I thought he was doing
Do
me
your
on the
blender,
toilet.
do your
Sorry.
Well, that's not you on the toilet. No, that's more about. I wonder how long I'll be here for.
So, what happens next?
Well, I come out of the toilet and she's immediately incensed and comes up to me and has a massive whispered go at me.
What does she say?
She said, I've been trying to work in here and you've been making noise all the time and that phone has gone off 2 or 3 times. And I'm sort of going, I'm sorry, I didn't realise. I just left it there. There's no need to take that tone with me, though. There's no need to be so rude. I'll turn my phone off now. I'm sorry, but, you know. So this carries on for a few minutes, and then Wally, who works there, comes up and has a word with us both and says, please, be quiet and get on with your work.
OK, we do need an answer. So Lee's team is Wally, Jermaine's crane companion, Alan's car crasher, or David's bookish buddy.
He's got a bit of library about him, hasn't he? He has got a whiff of book about him.
That's my new fragrance for Christmas.
If I had to choose, I would say Alan.
What are you thinking, Jermaine?
The whispering argument, I can see it happening.
Yeah.
And I bizarrely think it might be Jermaine.
Oh, brilliant.
OK, so Jermaine thinks it's David.
I think it's Alan.
You think it's Alan.
And you think
And I
it's
think
Jermaine?
it's Jermaine.
Let's say Jermaine then.
Jermaine has to pick.
Yeah, I think Jermaine should say Jermaine.
I'm handing the leadership qualities over to Jermaine
All right.
and letting him decide who it is.
What do you say,
providing he
Jermaine?
says Jermaine.
We collectively think it's David.
No!
Saying David. OK. So, Lee's team, after a thorough democratic process, are settling on David. Wally, would you please reveal your true identity?
My name is Wally, and I was teaching Alan how to drive when he crashed into the co-op car park.
Thank you very much, Wally. Which brings us to our final round, quick fire lies, and we start with... It's Lee.
After an incident last year, I have a fear that some of my neighbours think I hunt ducklings.
David's team.
What was the incident?
Hang on. Got it. So, I live by a river.
Yeah.
That much is true.
We know it's true because we both enjoyed an evening, one of his evenings at his house.
We have
Thank you.
indeed.
Do you remember it, David, don't you? Because you and Rob both left, and then 10 minutes later, you snuck back, didn't you? And I remember as David drove off going, I'll give you a lift, David! 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 So, I live by the river.
Yeah.
And there was a duckling in the front of our house. Let's call it the driveway.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I didn't want to say driveway because I start making a mean all showbiz that I've got a car. Anyway, so there's the duckling,
Which
right?
part of the drive? Was it down by the gates or where it sweeps up around the lawn?
I don't know, I'd got over the moat, to be honest with you. Actually, a duckling would be quite good at getting through. I reckon I know how, as you're thinking about it.
So this duckling on its own.
Yeah, so
is
there's a
on
duckling.
on the drive.
He's on the driveway.
Yeah.
This was the yellow fluffy variety.
Right.
And so I decided I must catch the duckling and try and put it back in the water.
Yeah,
in the river.
Why?
You mean, why have I got a heart, David?
Yeah.
Why did you bother about this non-human thing? Why did you eat it?
So, yeah, no,
Why
duck
did you
is...
baste it, fry it and shove it in your mouth?
Are you saying that
I didn't get... Sorry, David.
Yeah, I mean, you've had enough time to invent anything.
Right.
So you see the duckling on the drive.
Yes.
You pick up. What is this thing that you're picking up?
This is I have a big net in my house.
Right.
Yeah? And so I see this duck and I catch it and I scoop it up. So I've now got a duck in the net.
Right.
And my plan was to look round for lots of baby ducklings and a sort of adult-sized duck going. That was my plan.
Right.
You did say the duckling was yellow.
Did I?
Yeah, what colour are the ducks on the river?
Uh-oh.
What?
Can we go into conference for a moment?
Because the ducks on the river are almost certainly mallards,
Yes?
and their ducklings are not yellow.
Yeah, but this wasn't complete. This wasn't a pure.
I don't
Mallard.
care. Wrong. Now, one of the most important things not to do with ducklings when you find them in the spring is to touch them or handle them at all.
Lee.
Because the mother will reject them.
Yes.
I didn't handle him. I netted him. Do you know why I didn't handle him? Because the mother would have rejected it.
So how far have you walked
A long
to this
way,
point?
because I couldn't find any ducks and any ducklings. So I'm now walking up, and I have noticed that people have passed me, and I've given them the, all right, and they've gone, all right. It dawns on me after half a mile, they're going, I think this stretch of the river, which is famous for fishing, I think that weirdo has been catching ducklings. They think I've scooped one out, because it's a proper big fishing net I've got. So I decided to go home, ring up the RSPCB,
RSPCD.
B, I said.
D. P.
There's the RSPB.
Oh, sorry.
RSPB, you idiot.
Or the RSPCA.
You thought it was B, you weirdo! Preventing cruelty to ducklings, that's a very niche market. Oh, no, we're only goslings.
So what do you think, David? Is he telling the truth?
I should point out that we did find out that it was goose.
So it was a bright yellow gosling.
It was bright yellow, and I thought it was a duckling, and it turned out to be
Goslings
a
are bright yellow.
Are they?
OK, what do you think?
The thing is, it's so heavily embroidered, this story.
Yeah.
But I think it's substantially true.
Alan?
Well, throughout the story, I thought it was a complete nonsense.
Yes, I did throughout. But then there was something about him saying they came back and they said actually it was a baby goose, and it having been yellow. That's tipped me into thinking it might be true. I'm going to say true.
True?
Yeah.
OK. Lee, truth or lie?
It is, in fact, true.
Next. It's Jermaine.
The night before the biggest game of my career, a teammate woke me up by practicing his trumpet.
David's team.
I'm assuming that's not a euphemism. What time was this?
12:30, something like that.
So why were you cohabiting with a trumpeter?
you just use that as the trailer and nothing. That's it. That's all we need.
It's not something that you ask, is it? I mean, are you a trumpeter? And let's room together. I don't know.
But he was from your team.
He was, yeah. He was in my team
What team was it?
when I was at Newcastle United.
So where were you?
I was in a hotel.
A hotel?
Yeah.
Where?
It was in Newcastle.
Think about the other team you were playing. And it'll probably be the same answer.
Say in Newcastle?
It was in Newcastle, yeah.
Why would you be in a hotel in your own hometown?
Because we were playing against Sunderland.
Oh, fair enough.
Sometimes the manager likes to just keep the players together.
Ah, yes,
right.
I have
Under
heard of
lock
that.
and key. Who was the trumpeter?
It was Nobby Solano.
Oh, Nobby Solano. He's from Peru.
What was he playing?
I can't help thinking, if someone wakes you up playing a trumpet in your ear, you don't go, oh, what is that? Is that... no, don't tell me, carry on playing. I'll get this.
It was something like, you know, them Mexican kind of food adverts, like...
And you say this was Nobby Solero?
Nobby Solero is a
Nobby
very
Solano.
adult ice cream.
So where is he trumpeting?
He was like, kind of like sat at the edge of his bed, like this, with a stand and...
He'd set up his...
If this is a lie, don't push it somewhere.
He'd set
Stand
up...
at a battle!
He'd set up his music stand.
Tunic. You got a tunic and a hat on. Under his chin.
2, 3, 4.
And what was his excuse?
That he's practising, that was it.
And did the conversation go further? Did you say...
Well, I just said, you know, put it away.
And also start playing the trumpet.
What do you think? I mean, I know the world of football is not one that you're overly familiar
Yes,
with.
but I am an expert in nocturnal trumpeting. You know, it balances out.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jimmy?
It's certainly true that people tolerate a lot of noise in South America, generally.
OK. You think...
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going true.
We'll go true.
OK, Jermaine, truth or lie?
It's true.
Wow. And that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. I can reveal David's team have 5 points and Lee's team have 0. But, of course, it's not just a team game. My individual liar of the week this week is Jermaine Greer. Yes, Jermaine Greer, a feminist who not only burned her bra, but now her pants are on fire as well. Good night.
His daughter is alive and lost in London. Reed needs to be found and told in Ripper Street, next on BBC One. Joe Brand and celebrity fans get together with the latest bank baker to leave the tent on BBC Two now. And on BBC Three, giving his own unique editorial to the headlines, Russell Howard's Good News.